Hello students, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Students, this is our last session of the workshop, the second session of day 2. So welcome back, and again, if you are following along, like the updated file, I've put it in Teams, you can make use of that, or continue working with your own files if you are following with your own files. Okay, so today in the last session, students, we will talk about GitHub. So in the morning session today, this was the flow. So we talked about branches, merging the branches. We talked about dealing with conflicts, merge conflicts, right? We talked about stashing. Yeah, stashing, guys, we had a particular point wherein we were not able to stash one particular stash, right? We had two stashes. One stash was there lying around. So stash clear does the job. So you can do this. See now, we don't have the stash. So what essentially you can do is you can do a git stash clear, right? So you can see git stash list, we don't have any. So you can give a git stash clear to remove all the stashes, right? So that is also done. So, okay, now let us come back to our third part, wherein we will talk about GitHub. Okay, so GitHub essentially is a collaborative store, guys. It is another website. So it is online website that is almost similar to what we had been doing yesterday and today. It is also SCM system, but it is online, so you can create remote repositories, right? And you can have your local repositories and remote repositories. You can have them in sync, right? And multiple people can work together on a project, right? So it is basically for collaboration. So GitHub is an online repository or a cloud store for collaboration, guys. Okay, so let us set up a GitHub repo and do some kind of stuff on GitHub to collaborate effectively. And before doing that, I would like to probably ask you or tell you that if you guys already have an account on GitHub, you can make use of that account. If you do not already have an account, please ensure that, or please create an account in GitHub. So creating an account hardly takes 2 to 5 minutes only. So if you already do not have an account, create an account. So assuming that you guys have an account now, right? Let us talk about GitHub and how to make use of this popular tool, right? Which is online store for collaboration. Okay, so it is essentially, as I've said, it is a remote repository. So GitHub is a remote repository. We have been working with local repository, and it is for collaboration. So some of the features that you can make use of in GitHub, like there are so many features that are available in GitHub that you can try it out, right? Most importantly, you can make use of GitHub for tracking, right? For assigning issues, for doing PRs, right? PRs is nothing but pull requests. We'll talk about these issues, the pull requests, etc., right? And how you can play around with that, right? And become comfortable with the GitHub user interface, right? As we start working with that. Okay, so you can do a push, right? You can do a pull, right? Push and pull is essentially like you deploy your code onto GitHub, right? Which is pushing, right? And pulling is again retrieving the code from GitHub onto your local store or your local machine, right? You also have so many other tools for project management in GitHub that you can effectively make use of. We will have a high level look into some of the tools that you may probably want to use, right, and explore later after the talk is over. So yeah, software management tools or software project management tools, right, are available in GitHub as well. Okay, so let us, as with the previous session, let us do some kind of exercises, right, to get ourselves comfortable with the online source control management system, GitHub. Okay, so our first exercise is to create a repo, do a push and then clone, right? So clone essentially doesn't make sense as of here, but we will maybe clone whatever is available and then do some updates in GitHub, and then we will do a sync, right, to see the updates. So that is the idea of putting clone over here. So our exercise is to create a remote repository, right? So creating a remote repository is using this particular command, but before that you need to have a GitHub account. Okay, so head over to your browser, right, and open github.com. So in Safari here, I am already logged into this particular account, right? So you may probably see GitHub also suggests that you go with the two-factor authentication, right? So if you have not already signed up for a two-factor authentication, you can do that. Otherwise, password also you can make use of. Okay, so github.com, from here, what you essentially do is you create a new repository, right? So you can either go here and create a new repository by going into repositories from your particular account, right, and create new from here, which will create a new repository, or which will allow you to create a new repository. Or you can just go to this particular URL github.new, which also does the same, which will also take you the place wherein you click new and you get a particular page that is essentially github.new. Okay, so either you say github.com/new, right, or .new, or you can click on this particular button. Okay, so from here you can create a repository. So let us create a repository for understanding. Say this repository is named as, say, Git workshop. Okay, so this is available. It gives you some hint also. If a particular name is not available, it will give you some suggestions, right? And it will also give you some names, right? Like Laughing Sniffle, if you want to just go with that for testing purpose, right? You can either have a public repository or a private repository. In this particular case, say let us create a private repository, right? And you can initialize this. Typically, if you have a local repository or a local thing with all these particular files already available, and you typically want to push, right, things will be available. We have a .ignore already, right? We don't have a license and we don't want as well. We have a readme.md file. So if you go to your Visual Studio Code, you have readme.md is available. You don't have a license, so you can have you can add this and choose a license file also if you want. But for testing purpose, for simplicity, we don't add a license. So we have a private repository just specified, and then we can click create repository to create the repository. Okay, so once you click the button create repository, it will give you some kind of tips as to how to further proceed, right? If you wish to create a new repository, you proceed with these particular commands. Many of these particular commands we have already seen in the earlier classes, earlier talk, wherein we did all this, including we have an initialized repository already available locally. So essentially, we can make use of this particular stuff, right, to do a add and push. Okay. So let us do it from the command line, right, to do this. So creating a private remote repository, we have just created a remote repository, but then we need to add the repository so that your local repository knows about that particular remote repository. So that is the purpose of creating remote add. Okay. So the command is remote add. You specify the repository name and specify the URL, right? So we can see here, right? It says get remote add, right? You specify the repository name. This could be any name. Typically, like Origin is a familiar and commonly used name, so you can make use of Origin, or you can make use of your own name as well, right? So this is the name of the remote repository, right? And then this is your URL. So this is essentially this URL with a .git extension. You see it is exactly the same, right? Git ws.git. All right. So you can just copy this, right? And go over to your Visual Studio Code. From here, see where you are, and then you can specify get remote add origin and specify the URL. Okay, so this is how you specify or add the remote repository. So once that is done, what you do is you do a git push u origin master. You can either do this. See, this is not required because ours is a main, right? So we need to specify main here, right? So you can, so previous versions of Git, they made use of master, and that is available here as well even now. So master or main, depending upon what the branch name is, you can specify accordingly, right? So pushing is this way, right? You also have push all that you can do. So as you can see here in the slide, so if you want to push, you have got some options available. Sorry. you do a push -u repository name and your local branch to push. Okay, so this will push your particular repository, right? So using this particular syntax, either you can push your repository, which will be actually pushing only the main branch, right? But if you have multiple branches, right, you can do a push all as well, right? So this -u is essentially a shorthand version of the longhand form -- set upstream to, right? So set upstream to and -u both are the same, right? So as I've already said, again, you can either use this or you can do a push all if you also want to push your branches. Okay, so let us do this push all since we have some branches, right? So let us see here and call the command get branch. That's a typo. We have only the main branch. We have removed all the branches, is it? We had some branches earlier. We don't see any particular branch. If we want, we can create a branch. Okay, so push all and push -u origin master, that is the difference. Push all will push everything, right? So push -u origin master, it is only the main branch, right? So whatever, so you can either do that. So if I say get push, okay, let me say -all, right? For change, if I say ALL, why is it asking grid credential OS keychain wants to use your I don't remember the password. Let's see. Login keychain password, guys, I just forgot this. If I say deny, will it allow me? Let us see. Okay, if I say authorize GitHub, okay, I have a two-factor authentication. Will it go directly? I'm not sure. Let us see. Do you want to allow this page to open Visual Studio Code? Yeah, please allow. Open. Yeah. Okay, so just the authorization thing. So just accept all those things, right? And you are now able to push. So good, get push all, right? We have pushed to the repository. Okay, so guys, let us see that in the GitHub page. So let us just close this and refresh this page. See this? You have your entire page, right? And again, like we don't have branch, right? We created the branches, but then we don't have the branches now. So if we create branch, that branch will also be available. So just for testing, if I show you how to just see, it will be available under this. Okay, so now we have only the main branch, right? If you create branches, right, and push, do a push all, those branches will also be available under this. Okay. Clear, guys, all of you so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You can also view, edit, and delete the branches. Okay, so let us just have a branch. Maybe we have created a branch and then we have done modifications, etc. But then just for namesake, we can let us create a branch and see it in GitHub also. So let us say git switch -c. Let us create a test branch. And then when we see the branch, we are in test now. Yeah. And then we can move to the main branch. So get switch main, you switch to main branch, right? Get branch, and then you can say again get push say allow. Why this is happening again? What did we do earlier? Okay. So this keychain thing, I just forgot the password. I need to look into that. So this push all, it created a pull request for test on GitHub by visiting this, right? So let us see in GitHub if we have the test. We don't see the test. So did it get pushed or not? Yeah, we have the test here. So this test is essentially a copy. We don't have any particular change at all, right? So you can view all the branches by clicking this, right? Yeah, there was a disturbance. Hope I'm audible, guys.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So your branches are here, right? It says test, right? It somehow like two times it appeared, right? Because of the keychain thing, I guess. But again, essentially, like if you do a push all, you get the branches as well, right? You can also work with the branches here. You can do a pull request here. We'll talk about pull request, right? But then you can edit, right? You can delete the branch, etc., right? But then since this particular branch doesn't have a thing, right? It is essentially a copy, right? So let us remove this. Let us come back to this. So you can work like whatever like you have been doing there, right? Locally, right? You can do all the commands. You can do everything in this particular page as well in GitHub. Okay. And people are waiting in the lobby. So they will be able to join automatically, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so we can view, we can edit, we can delete branches. We have just deleted a branch, right? If you want, we can restore that. So we're done with this. Okay, and let us clone it now. So we will clone it now, and then we have already done a small change. We have just deleted that particular branch, but locally we have that test available, right? We'll clone it and then we'll sync it later. So we will clone it now. So what do you mean by cloning, guys, by the way? Cloning is essentially like having the same copy as in the repository, but then you get your git initialized file. It will be git initialized. So it is unlike your downloading as a zip. So let us clone it now. So this is how you clone it. So you can copy this and then issue a command called as git clone to clone it, right? Download zip, right? It will not be initialized as a kind of repository locally, right? When you clone it, your clone will be initialized as a repository, and you can work locally inside the Git repository. So coming over here, you can copy this, okay, and then maybe go to terminal. And from here, where am I? You are in desktop. So let me go to desktop and let me give a git clone and then this thing. Okay, it says destination path git ws already exists and is not an empty directory. So what we can do is we can maybe create another folder over here. What is this thing? Allow deny, I say always allow, doesn't accept, deny. Username for github.com, it is my name. Password, that's what I don't remember, so let me see if this right. Oh, okay. It says please use a personal access token ID. Okay, so token ID, what is the token ID exactly? I don't remember. So let me just stop screen sharing and then quickly find out the token ID and then maybe try to come back again and then try to sign in. Just give me a second, guys. So let me just go to Teams, stop screen sharing. And then let me just hunt for my token ID. Yeah, see, guys, if you actually do go for a two-factor authentication, you specifically want to sign in or specify your token ID when you want to do these commands. Okay, so token ID, I just give me 1 second. Let me. Yeah, I have the personal access token saved somewhere. So let me. Yes. Yeah, so it got cloned. So let us see what is available here inside test. Yeah, we have this git ws. Okay, so we have just cloned this. So this is available here. Okay, and maybe let us have this available here and let it have the name as say git ws or whatever, or let me just move this to some other place. And just have this git ws inside the desktop. Okay. All right, and then it is almost the same except for the test which we have removed. Okay, so let us close this and again go to terminal and go to our home page. Sorry, go to our home, and from here let us go to our desktop, and then from here let us see what is available. I guess it is get something. Okay, and then let us do it. All right, so we have opened this cloned one here now in our local machine. All right, so if you do get log online, right, you have this, right? So you have the main, you have the origin main, origin head, right? All these particular log messages are available. It is shown here. You can see it from here also, right? And then if you do a get status, right, it is clean. Okay, now that we have a clone available, right, let us go ahead and see what we are supposed to do next, right? So we have the clone available, right? We will do some updates and then we will sync it. Okay. Oh, got it. That was my token ID, guys, actually, the one that I've pasted now. Yeah. So Yes, our next step is let us have a quick tour on the GitHub user interface, right, and see the things that we can actually do. So that is our next exercise, exercise 11, right? We have the about section, right? So let us quickly switch over to the interface or the site. So it is over here, okay? So this is what we were seeing, right? So we have pushed successfully, we have pushed the code, entire code, the code is available here, right? We don't have any branches, we have removed that particular branch, right? And then we have all these particular tabs that you can make use of. All these tabs are very, very useful tabs that you can make use of. So you have a branch tab, you have one branch, which is only the main branch. You have 0 tags, you can make use of tags to actually refer to a particular feature in the particular project very easily, depending upon the tags that has been mentioned, right? So you can create a project label, you can tag it. There are so many tools available. So let us see what are the most important tools that we typically can make use of getting started, right? So we have seen this already, right? Code, right? We can also add a file here. We can add a file. We can upload files, right? We can create a new file. We can create a folder, right? If you want to create a folder, you can create a folder by by clicking on that create new file, and then specify the folder name. Say, you can specify it as folder, right? Followed by you can specify more subfolders if you want, and then finally your name. So this will create a folder. Okay, guys. So this is how you can create folders, right? You can, what is this? Stay on page, leave page. What is this? Stay on page. If you cancel the changes, it says this leave page. Okay. Okay, guys. So you can also minimize this or something like that, right? If you have files lying around somewhere, you can drag and drop. That is also supported in GitHub, right? So you can drag and drop the file for adding files, right? You can go to a particular file, and this is your about section, right? So in this particular about section, right, you can click this gear icon and then give some description about this particular project, right? So this is Git workshop. Okay, and this is a cool thing. Again, you can specify a website here, right? If you have a website, again, from the GitHub project that you create, right? And if it is a static or dynamic site, right? You can specify the site here. You can make use of pages in GitHub, right? And specify that particular link here, right? So we will see that as well. And then you can include in the home page these things, releases, packages, environments. For now, let us uncheck this releases and packages and just say environment. So once we are kind of ready that it is kind of a release thing, right? We can release it, right? So this is about GitWS as a README, right? And maybe you can add some tags as well if you want, right? So this is just, we are making use of CSS, we are making use of HTML, right? So depending upon the project, right, and the tools that you are making use of, you can use some appropriate tags or topics, right, that will show up in the about section. Yeah, so let us go over these particular things, but before then, just to ensure that we are not missing a point from this particular file, let us just see where we are. Okay, so we have talked about this other section, right, or the about section. We have talked about editing the files, right? We had talked about, yeah, we did not talk about editing the files. We have talked about adding the files. See, editing the file, you can do the editing directly here as well. Say, for example, if you have your README file over here or your index.html, whatever file, right? So if you just open this, right, it will show you the entire file, and then you can go over here and either click raw, or probably you can edit this file by clicking this pencil icon. Okay, so you can click this pencil icon, right? Edit the changes or edit a particular file, right? Preview changes. If there are any particular changes, that changes will appear here, right? And once you are done, you can commit, right? So you can commit directly from here, right? Or also do a pull request. Okay, so we are not doing any change now, but this is how you can edit and commit. Okay, so you can do a commit directly here through GitHub also. Okay. So let us go back to code, right? And yeah, let us see what we have next. Okay, so that is adding file we have seen. Okay, editing files we have just seen now. peek into the other features, available, right? So let us have a small peek. So we have some tabs available here, guys. See, you have issues, you have pull requests, you have actions, projects, wiki, security, insights, and settings, right? So issues, if you click this particular tab, right, this is the place wherein you can start collaborating, typically speaking, right? So your friends, if they also have a GitHub account, right, and if you and your particular friend or friends, they are all collaborating on a particular project, right? You can open an issue, right? You can talk about that particular issue. You can link that particular issue that you are talking about to a pull request, right? So we'll talk about pull request also. So issues are the place, right? So issues, you specify a particular issue, and then you can comment on that particular issue, right, to actually start your collaboration, right? We'll come back to this. Next is pull request, right? So pull request is actually the place wherein your particular request gets approved. Okay, so your collaborator, right? You may actually specify a particular pull request, and if it is approved or not, right? All those particular kind of things, right? It is also sometimes called as PRs. Okay. Okay, so that is issues and pull requests, and then you have actions here. So this particular tab is a whole lot of things. As you can see here, there are so many things that are available, right? Typically for automation stuff, right? So you do a testing, you do a deployment, automatic continuous integration, CI/CD thing, if you have heard of, right? It's all about testing, deployment, etc. And there are so many tools that are available here, right? That you can make use of for setting up your automation. So essentially, it is managing your particular repository, right? Automating your particular repository, right? Doing builds, right? As you can see here, build, test, deploy your code, right? So this is the next level, right? So after you are comfortable with the local repository, right? This remote repository thing and how to actually do push pull, right? Syncing aspects, all those things. After you are comfortable, you can come to this particular part and then start doing automating or start automating things. So that is the actions part, and then you have projects tab, right? So projects tab allows you to organize your issues with project boards, right? You can have your to-dos, right, kind of thing, your Kanban boards, if you have heard of, right? So it is a very cool utility, right? We will get started with this as well, right, and probably create a project with some to-dos, okay? And it's a wiki, right? If you want, you can use for your documentation, right? So you can make use of Git WS wiki also, right? But again, if you have a particular project that is going to be released or that has been released, right, you can make use of a separate site, right, rather than a wiki, or you can make use of the pages, right, and then have your documentation in the GitHub pages itself, right? So these are the tabs: issues, pull requests, actions, projects, wiki, and then security. So it's all about specifying the security policy, right? Your security advisories, etc. Right. So this is some advanced stuff, right? We are not going to look into the security aspects here as of now. Insights. This is quite useful. This depending upon your particular project maturity level in the GitHub, right? This shows you the contributors, right, the traffic, etc. Right? So now here just I have there's a single contributor. So if you have multiple contributors, those contributors names will be available, the number of commits, right, code frequency, dependency graph. Dependency graph is nothing but the different kinds of tools that have been used, right, network, etc. Okay, so you can have a look, you can play around with all these particular things, see the things that are available, and as your code matures and when you have multiple people collaborating in the project, right, you will have all sorts of data in this particular tab. All right, and finally settings you can explore. There are so many different settings that are available that you can explore, and then as time comes in, right, you can make use of an appropriate setting as required, right? For now, just getting started, we can see that here inside options, right, you have the repository name. If you want, you can rename it, right? And if it is a particular project, that probably can be used as a template repository, so that next time when you create a particular repository, you can use this as a kind of template, right? So if you check this, right, this will act as a kind of template repository next time you create some other project based upon this particular project, right? So here, let us leave it alone. It is not any big project or something like that. It is just for demo purpose, right? So it is not a template repository, just a repository name. See, when you say a template repository, right, and when you actually go and create, you can select this Git WS. Okay, so now we have deselected this. And again here, if you come down, you can specify an image, right? So this will act as an image that you can upload, that will be your kind of image for your project, right? It will be displayed here. So we don't have an image over, and there are so many other features that you can look later, right? And that you can explore. And finally, if you want to delete a project, you can come to this danger zone, right? Change the visibility. It is private. If you want to make it public, you make it public, right? Transfer ownership, all those stuff. And yeah, you have this pages also, guys. So this is one thing that I would like to talk about now, right? So pages was earlier integrated in a different tab separately inside the single tab, but now it is available separately, right? So you can specify the pages here, right? And this will actually give you a web page, right? Hosted by GitHub. So it's absolutely free, right? So GitHub Pages is designed to host your personal organization or project pages from a GitHub repository, right? So here you can specify your branch, right? So say for example, we have a kind of working static page already available, right? So that would be probably hosted. So we have our index page inside main.html, right? And we don't have any other further branches also. So if you choose main, right? And here you can choose either docs or root, right? Slash docs, we don't have anything there in slash docs. Okay, so slash root, if you just do a save, it says it will take some time, but it says your site is ready to be published as this particular link. Okay, so let us see if it is available. Yeah, see guys, it is live. Yeah, so you can make use of these pages as well, right? And publish your work, right? Through GitHub Pages, right? It's a very cool utility which is free of cost. And then there is a Jekyll theme that you can make use of. So just you can make use of Jekyll theme chooser, right? And then probably change themes once if you're interested, really interested, right? So you can click here and then look into the different options that you can explore later. So we are not choosing any theme chooser now, okay? So if you want, you can have a custom domain also. So if you own a specific domain already, you can just map that particular domain here, right? So just do some kind of exploration on how to do things, right? By clicking learn more, right? And then you can do all this particular stuff, right? So this is already HTTPS, right? So your site is secured with your SSL certificate, so this is already secure. Yeah, so that's the most important tabs that are available in GitHub Pages, guys. So hope things are clear with respect to the definitions of the different tabs, the purpose, right? So so those are the features available, and then setting pages that we have just seen. And then let us talk something about PRs, guys. PRs is really very useful stuff. We don't have any collaborators now. This is really very useful when you have the project along with collaborators. Okay, so PRs is nothing but pull request, right? But again, to probably imitate a kind of pull request, right? Let us do this simple task. Okay, so without the collaborator also, we can try to understand the pull request thing, right? So let us understand through exercise number 12, right? So what we will be doing is we'll be modifying a file, right? Some file, and let us create a new branch, right? And start a pull request. Okay, so we'll start a pull request and we'll propose it, and then we will create a PR, right, through GitHub. All right, and then depending upon the pull request that we create, right, we can then comment on that, right? We can merge it, right? So let us do this one by one so that we get a better understanding, right, step by step, right? Rather than seeing the entire picture, we will do it one by one. So first of all, let us modify a file. So we'll go to code over here, right? And let us modify some file on this index.html. Okay, let us just do some small minor modification, maybe on the title thing. So we have this Flacogen, right? So let us directly edit this particular file. Come over here, come to title. Say earlier we added this, let us remove this star, or maybe let us have a single star on both sides. Okay, now see pull request, you modify a file and then instead of committing it directly, right, we can also do a pull request on this by selecting this particular option. Okay, so let us say this as, say, updated title. Okay, now we can choose the user email. So you need to choose the user email ID if you have multiple IDs, and then you can commit directly to the main branch, or now we will actually use this. We will create a new branch for this commit and start a pull request. So that is what is required here. So create a new branch and let us start a pull request or a PR. All right, so we will click this, right, and then we can give it a name, right? So let us say title, and we propose. Okay, now see that once you do that, you come here and you need to again click on this to create the pull request, right? So click on this, update the title, right? And then come over here and create pull request by clicking create pull request, right? Now this will create a pull request which is open now, and as you can see here, you have got conversations, you have got commits, right? So you can see the commits over here, right? If you have done the commit, updated the title, right? So we have changed that, right? So you can see the difference as well. As you can see here, you can see the difference, right? So 2 stars to single star, right? So you can see the commits. You can come to conversations, you can have conversations if you have collaborators. So now we don't have collaborators, we'll add collaborators as well. So you can leave in a comment, right? Just remove 2 sticks and the title. Put single sticks each side, something like that. Some comments. So if you are collaborating, you can write comments, right? This may not be as applicable as what we are doing, but again, the idea here is you can write comments, multiple comments. You can write, you can collaborate, you can talk, right? And then once you are all kind of done, right, you can merge the pull request. Okay, so you can comment this, and this will be added, right? You can merge the pull request. So it is kind of like people asking for a particular request and you actually approving it, right? You can assign people, right? You have lots of things over here on the right hand side, if you can see, right? There are reviewers, right? There are no reviewers here. You can assign reviewers, right? After you add collaborator, you can add a reviewer who can just review these things, right? And based upon the reviewers' comments, right? You can have assignees, right? You can, here we have only one assignee, right, which is myself. So again, after adding collaborators, this list will actually show all the collaborators that you have actually added, right? So you can have reviewers, you can have assignees, you can have labels, projects, milestones, right? So labels, say for example, you can specify a label here, you can specify, there are different labels, you can create your own labels also, right? So these are some of the available labels that you can make use of, right? And then mark it to this particular request. We are not going to do anything as of now, but again, this is the meaning, right? Okay, so that is labels, and then you can projects. We will talk about projects again later, right? But again, this can be associated with the project, right? And you can have your to-dos there, right, in the project, and that to-dos or those particular to-dos will be reflected here, or those particular project status will be reflected here. You can specify milestones, right? It is something like a target, right? So you can specify all the issues, right? So this can be linked with issues also, as you can see here, link issues, right? So you can specify an issue and this could be linked with issues. So we will try to understand these projects and some of these particular stuffs again, we will revisit. But this is how, first of all, you create a pull request, right? And then merge the pull request through GitHub. Okay, so for example, let us do this merge pull request. Let us click this and we will click confirm merge. Okay, so this has been merged. Okay, so this pull request has been merged and it has got the title, right? We have just given the title as updated the title and we have merged this. Okay, so this is done. This is done, right? We just talked about this, right? Once we add a collaborator, we can see the collaborator show up in both the sides, right? So collaborators can see each other, right? In the assignees list and the reviewers list, right? So that is adding assignees, right? We talked about adding labels. We talked about setting milestones. And linking issues, okay? Fine, guys. So this was a very, very high level view kind of thing, right? Since we don't have collaborators, but this is how, this is the idea, guys. Hope you are getting it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let us have some collaborator, but again, let me make use of, I have another email ID. Let me make myself as a collaborator and maybe show you the collaborators view as well. So let us do this exercise. So let us, and you have a do-it-yourself kind of thing as well. If you are following this, after the session is over, please try to do, at the end of this particular session, I have a do-it-yourself kind of exercise that you can try it out. So, okay, so let us see. So in exercise 13, right, let us go to settings and then first of all invite some collaborators. So we go to settings and then let us invite a collaborator. So to invite collaborator, from under left, you click manage access, and from here, as you can see, there are no collaborators. So from here, you can, there was a deviation. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you can search by username or you can specify the full name. So if a user already has a account in GitHub, right, he or she will come up, right? Say for example, if I do a Deepak or something I do not know, right? It should come up if you can recognize him or her. Or you can specify a complete ID, right? So complete email address also you can specify. And if he or she again does not have a GitHub account, right, he will be sent an email, right, notifying that you have been collaborated, you have been invited for a particular project, and if you do not already have an account, you can create an account at that particular time as well. Okay, so now say for example, let me add up my colleagues here. Say, okay, I don't know if Udayan sir is this or, okay, let me just type the entire email. Udayan KR, yeah, KR is coming up. But again, let me just type the entire email ID. So guys, if you are unsure, you can type the entire email ID, right, and then click this. Okay. You can invite multiple collaborators. So let me invite myself. Okay. So see here, you can see this pending invite, right? Once they accept it, right, the status will change here, right? Let me also invite Malati madam. So it's Malati em@ssn.edu.in. Okay. So they will receive an email. Okay, Vinod Chandar, he is identified as Vinod C2, right? So let us switch over to the mail. See here. So this is the perspective of the other guy or the other developer who had been invited who receives the invitation, right? So from here you can view the invitation and accept the invitation, right? Say, for example, let me just close this out and let me accept the invitation, right? So see here. Now, when I click accept the invitation, still I am logged in as Vinopsy, so this is not the other ID. So if I close this again and if I come over here and view the invitation, and this is Vinopsy 2, this is what you will be able to see. Okay, so you can accept the invitation. Okay, and you have everything. You have the same thing, issues, right? Pull requests, one which has been closed because we have merged it, right? And all the same tabs you can see here as well. But again, you have this particular code available that you can now make use of to actually collaborate with your collaborators. Okay. So let us just again put a tick mark to the things that we have already covered or seen. So we have accepted the invite, right? Now let us create an issue. Okay. Now from the contributor's point of view or the other collaborators' point of view, say for example, he is also seeing this particular code and he is now allowed to collaborate on this particular project, right? So depending upon what he sees, he can do a pull request, he can raise issues, right? He can be a part of the project, right, etc. Okay, so let us now create a particular issue. Okay, so the issue that we'll create is, okay, first of all, let us check these guys out, right? Let us add a label to the issue and then submit to the issue. So let us create the issue by clicking this new issue and we can have some title. Okay, so the title could be, say, let us create an issue. We had this in code, right? So let us see. We had this in code and say we have this index.html. Let us see this in the live server, how it looks like. Okay, so now we have this color kind of thing and then we have kind of submitted, right? So it is already available, it is deployed kind of thing. Let us assume that it is automatically deployed, it has been automatically built and deployed using the tools, right? So if that is the case again, and then if we have a collaborator now, right, probably to kind of illustrate this issue kind of thing, maybe we can raise an issue, okay? Say, BG color blue is not what we something like that. Let's say, for example, in the meeting you had discussed of background color to be kind of dark, and then you somehow just made blue, right? So that is not a big issue, but then for demonstration purpose, I'm just doing this. The BG color is not blue that we have discussed in the meeting, right? So that is the issue that you can say. So we can say this is a submit new issue, right? So this issue has been submitted. Okay, so this particular issue now you can add assignees, right? So you can see there are two assignees now. You can add assignees, right? So let me add this to myself again. So this is the other email, right? You can add assignees, you can add labels, right? You can say different labels are there: help wanted, invalid, question, right, won't fix, something like that. Say we say this is invalid, right, because we have agreed upon say background dark background, right. So we say that this is invalid, right. We can associate this to a project. We don't have any project set, we'll create a project also, right. We can have milestones, etc., right. Okay, and again you can see there are two participants over here, right. Okay, so this is how you create an issue, guys. Okay, so this stuff is done. We have added some label, we have submitted an issue. Next one. So next, let us see the same view in the other person's perspective, right? Which is again myself, right? Since I'm just trying to, I'm making use of two different email addresses. I'm just trying to show the different views. Okay. So let us switch the view, right, and then see the issues. Okay. So I have this in Safari, right, and I have Chrome as well. So Chrome is here. Okay, so I am here. Okay, so let me go into my repositories here, and then you go to Git WS and see the issues. See, that issue is reflected here. The BG color is not what we discussed in the meeting, right? And it that particular tag, right? It is invalid. Label that we have fixed or that we have put. Okay, so the other person is able to see this particular issue, right? So it is reflected. So collaboration. So this is how you start collaborating, right? You start with the issues and then do a pull request, etc. Right? Pull request we have seen, right? But that time again we did not have a collaborator. We can have pull requests also. So all of you get the idea, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so. Yeah, we will keep this here after this particular window so that it is easy to navigate, okay, so that we can check it off as we move across. Okay, so comment on it, see the issue, comment on it. So we have seen the issue, okay, the BG color is not what we have discussed in the meeting, right? You can write a comment, right? Okay, I will fix it myself, okay. So you start collaborating, right? So you can see this, right? And then let us have the Safari here, right? And then refresh this. It has come already. So yeah, syndication is there, right? So it gets auto reloaded. It says, okay, I will fix it. You can add a milestone. Okay, so let us add a milestone from this guy's perspective, right? So again, as you can see here, you have two participants, right? We have a label that has been added by the other person. Now let us add a milestone, right? So we can add a milestone here. So some name, right? So we can have this as a look and feel or something like that, right? Okay, so the milestone is look and feel review, right? So you can actually link pull requests also, right? So linked pull requests can be specified here, right? So we are not doing that here now, right? So yes, these are the things that you can do. You can do a conversation, you can specify milestone, right? You can assign projects, right? And everybody will be able to see the reflections, okay? Okay, so we were talking about projects. Let us create a project. So let us create a project, give it a name, and then choose a template, right? And then create a project and then add a card. So let us see how that works, right? So rather than specifying a project here, we don't have any project here, right? So for projects, we can go here under projects tab, and from here we can create a new project. Okay, so let me just say get workshop test project. Okay, if you want, you can give a description depending upon the to-do list that you're intending to do. Okay, if you want, you can specify a template. In fact, let us make use of a template, right? One of the widely used template is the Kanban thing, right? You can make use of Kanban, right, to get your to-dos, right, right inside GitHub, right? So let us create the project. And see here you get the different cards, right, and the columns, right. You can add cards, right. In fact, you have your particular issue here. This will be available already to you, so you can just drag this particular card, right, in any one of the particular columns, right. And you have got some additional notes also what you can actually do, right, to get the most out of it. For now, let me just delete all these particular notes and keep it empty. There was a sound, guys. Is my sound audible now?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is clear now. So what you can do is you can just drag and drop, right, to a particular column, right. You can let me close this. You can add columns, right. So say for example, okay, we are okay with just 3 columns: to do, in progress, done, right. So now that you have said that you will fix it as soon as possible, right. So maybe we can push this to in progress. Okay, so this is a kind of Kanban. This is in fact a Kanban board, right, and you can have your to-dos, right, and then manage your particular progress. Okay, guys, so we have done this. We have given it a name here. Hello. Hello. I guess there was some interruption. Anything, guys?
No, sir, it was crosstalk.
Oh, okay, okay, right. And then we have created a project. We have added the card to do our in progress column. We have put it in progress, right? And then we can see the updates reflected on the issue, right? In fact, we have seen the updates reflected on the issue. In fact, we have seen it here again, but again, if you go to the other browser, so this is your Safari. If you go to Chrome, right, wherein you have the other user, here also you can see your projects tab, and then you can see this has been updated over here as well. Okay, and everything you can see under issues as well, right? See, this is been reflected now with the appropriate project, right? In progress. So both the users are in sync. They are able to have a effective and fruitful collaboration of things what are happening. All right, students. So far, so good.
Yes, sir.
All right, and then let us talk the most important part, which is syncing, right? So we have just done a small change on the title, but again, that was the purpose wherein that was the reason why we had done a kind of clone earlier, right? So that we have a kind of change, and then when we sync, we can have the changes updated in our local repository. So guys, for syncing, let us have this exercise. So exercise number 14 is syncing. And exercise number 14, syncing. You can sync your local repo or your remote repo to your local repo, right, in 3 ways, right? You can do a fetch, right? You can do a pull. Essentially 2 ways. You can do a fetch and a pull. Okay, so there is a small difference between a fetch and a pull, right? So when you do a fetch, right, what essentially happens is, right, you are fetching everything from your remote repository to the local repository, and whatever changes are available or that has been done, that is going to be reflected here as well. Okay, and what is pull then? Any guesswork, guys? Pull is nothing but it is also a fetch, but also or additionally it also merges your branches if you have any. Okay, with the main branch or the master branch. So that is the difference. Okay, so let us see these 2 commands in action so that you get a better understanding, right? Fetch and pull to have things in sync. Okay, now that we have this git ws, which we have just cloned it, right? But then we have cloned it and then we have done the changes to GitHub later, right? So we should be able to get that particular change, right? So that was a very simple small change, but we should be able to get that particular change through fetch. All right, so let us go to code. and from code, let us see what we have, right? Yeah, so let us open the terminal, right? Let us see get branch branch. All right, so we have the main branch, right? But again, we have here, right? We have created a small branch, right? We have created a title branch. The title branch has been removed, right? Did we remove the title branch, guys? It has been merged. Yeah. So let us come to repositories and choose this again, right? And then look into the code, and we have this issue and the pull request. Okay, just 1 second. So we are here, right? The BG color is not okay. The BG color thing we can change it, right? Okay, we can change that BG color thing. But again, let us first of all do a fetch. Okay, so we have done this particular change, right? We have done a change here. 1 second, yes. Yeah, we have one issue over here. Okay, we have this issue, right? It is in progress, right? So this particular issue, we need to fix it. Okay, so that is your particular kind of task. Okay, so you please do this, right? So you fix this particular thing, right? So your pull request issue is going to be fixed, right? Through GitHub, right? And then when you do a git fetch, right, that will be synced. Okay, so that is your kind of task here to do it yourself kind of thing. So I've put it over here, right? So you can either do it, or if let me see if we have time. We have some time. We'll come back to this, right? So as we discuss, right, if you can just try this out, right, and show me a screenshot of the successful issue fixing of the background color. If you had been following along, right, that will be great. Okay, but first of all, let us get this idea, right? So the idea here is fetch and pull. If you do a fetch, right, even if you get your branches, right, and if you do a pull, the branches will also be merged. Okay, so yes, guys, I would like you guys, if you are following along, to do this particular stuff yourself. Are you guys ready? Yes, no, any response?
We'll try it, sir.
Okay, great. So please try. Okay, so this last part, I am just leaving it for you guys, assuming that you guys are following along, right? So that you can get comfortable with Git, local Git and remote Git, right? So till this particular part, right, I have just told you like how things are to be kind of done, right? So for syncing, you do a git fetch. You just say git fetch and then git pull, right? So if you do a git pull, you also get your things merged. That's all. That is the difference, right? You can do both git fetch and git pull also, up to you. But what is to be done as a kind of homework for you guys is you copy the main branch, right? So as a developer, you copy the main branch, you create a new branch, right? So do this stuff from here. Do this stuff directly from GitHub. Okay, do a change to the file, say fix the submitted issue, right? Stage, commit, you can do it locally as well. Merge the branch to main, push everything, or just the created branch and create a PR. If you say, for example, while you are doing this, you have kind of invited some more collaborators, right? Or you have at least one collaborator along with you on that particular project, right? Maybe you can push directly, right? Or you can have that as a PR. Okay, so just the created branch, right, and create a PR for that created branch. So create a branch, create a peer for that particular branch, and somebody else let him or her approve that, right? So make him or her the reviewer, right? And then somebody else make an assignee, right? And then approve that particular request, and then merge that particular request, right? So please try doing this yourself, right? After the session is over, either on this project itself, because I've just shared the code, you can make use of this, and then try these things out and view the changes in GitHub. Okay, now let me just assume that okay, we are done with this, we have done this necessary change. So what you will be essentially doing is, so okay, let me come over to this place, right? So from here you will be essentially doing get fetch. Yeah, so it is fetched, right? And if you see, you have this new title here, right? So you can see this here from here as well, right? So main, right? You have your title also. These are your local branches, and you can see this. These are your remote branches, right? And you can check out here from here also directly. You click on a particular thing, right? And you're on that particular branch, right? So either you can do it this way, or you can come from here, do a git checkout or a git switch. That is also completely fine. Okay, and see here guys, when you do a git branch, right, you just see the main, but actually you have done a fetch, right? And we had a test branch also here, so we got that as well, right? We have a, sorry, title branch, not test, we have a title branch, right? So that title branch is not getting reflected because that is a remote branch. If you want to see that also, you can give an option -a, and you can see that as well, right? Head, main, and title. Understanding, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so the only part I am just expecting from you guys is having understood all these particular concepts in your particular free time, right? Try doing this particular part and see if it is working as expected, right? And then after you are done, maybe, okay, you can say that you have done this, you have fixed this particular issue, and then you can move the card from in progress to done. So assuming that, okay, we are done with this and the issue has been fixed, what you can do is you can go to Safari or Chrome. Okay, so this is the other user from here. This is myself. So you can go to projects, and from this projects, you can drag this and put it to done. Okay, so once you do this, maybe you can click on this and close this issue, right? Or you can go to the issue and then probably give a comment and then close it, right? So come here, you can see, or you can make a comment, okay, saying that fix the BG color issue. Okay, so although we have not fixed it, right, assuming that it is done, right, because it has been given as a kind of homework to you guys, do it yourself, right? So once you do that, you can come over here and then do the project management stuff, right? You can move your card from your in progress to done, and then you can write a comment saying that you have fixed the BG color issue, and then you can either comment it or you can close with the comment. So I am just closing it with a comment, so the issue is closed now. As you can see here, the issue is closed. Okay, so now if you come over here to issues, right, it says it is closed. There are no open issues. Okay, so we have just closed the issue, right? And also you can archive the card once it is over. So it is always a good practice to keep your particular Kanban mode clean, right? So you can just remove the card or you can archive the card, right? So assuming that, okay, or issue is fixed, right? Now what you can do is you can click on this, right? You can either remove from the project or archive it. Say for example, let me archive it now. So it has gone to archive. Okay, and finally guys, one more thing I would like to tell you is once you are all set, right, and you feel that okay, it's now ready to be released, right, you can specify a release. Okay, so how do you do that? You do that by going to GitHub, and from GitHub, from inside code, right, and from here about, remember we had something called as release, right? We uncheck that, you probably check it, right? So you say that you have decided to release this particular project, you can save the changes, right? And under releases, you can create a new release, right? And specify a tag, right? If you want, right? So say just git workshop, or you can specify a version 1 or something like that. Tag could be something else probably, right? Okay, let us not have any tag for now, right? Since it's a very simple static page, right? So you can specify a version 1 or 1.0, right? And then you can have subversions, right? 1.0.0, or you can have some kind of semantic things that have been added. So if you want semantic versioning, you can read more about semantic versioning and do it accordingly. Or if it is in alpha or beta state, you can have some kind of syntax, something like alpha or beta or something like that. Let us just say it is version 1.0 for now, right? Say this is our first release, right? And you can check this if it is a pre-release, right? So not at production ready, or it is not production ready. You can check this if you want. Let me uncheck this and say that okay, this is a production version or production ready project that we have just thought of publishing, and then you can publish the release. So yet another kind of branch will be available for you with this releases, wherein you can download the source code, right? And if you go to code, you can see this has been or this is available as a branch by itself, okay? Get version WSV1, which essentially means, okay, this is the place, this is your released version kind of that is available. It is similar to your main or master branch, but again, it has been tagged with version 1 release, okay? So yes, guys, so that is all that I wanted to say in this particular workshop, right? Getting comfortable with Git and GitHub, it's very core and essential skill. Every programmer, every developer, every IT guy should actually possess, right? He should actually be comfortable working on both these particular platforms locally and both remotely. So that is all, guys, for the workshop. Hope all of you have understood. Any queries or something like that, but again, before you ask any queries, please take this up seriously, and when you get time, do this stuff based upon this particular project which is available. All right, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we are done with the session and we are done with the workshop. Anything to be discussed, any queries, either with the commands or in general with respect to Git or GitHub? Guys, when you go into industry, it is not necessary that you will be working on this particular platform. You might be probably working in Mercurial if the industry is making use of Mercurial or something else. But again, this is the basic idea, right? It's a very, very important aspect, right, in programming. And it should be a kind of something day-to-day activity kind of thing. Whenever you do any kind of code, right, ensure that you actually maintain it, right, or version it, or you manage it via any kind of source control management tool, whether it be Git or whether it be Mercurial or whether it be Bitbucket. Yeah, so if there are no more queries, I will just take the attendance now, and then we can wind off and probably catch up in some other interesting workshop next month, right? So let me stop screen sharing and take the attendance. So just give me a second. Yeah, guys, so I thank everyone for attending this particular workshop. Hope you have understood something on source control management aspect, if not into very deep aspects, at least getting started at the beginners level. Hope you guys got a taste of what basically are the basic commands on Git, and then how to work remotely using GitHub. So guys, we will stop here, and our workshop has come to an end. So once again, I thank everybody. And in the meantime, you can check your names here. So this is the attendance list. So if things are all okay, right? Have a happy weekend. That is all from my side. Thank you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, could you scroll down a bit, sir, to check my name, if my attendance is registered?